I have found definite proof that Boruto and Sasuke freed Kaguya, who then revealed the true horror of the 10 Tails, and also the lost history of humanity. The same history that Momoshiki hinted at the end of the first part of Boruto before the time skip. That is, before Two Blue Vortex, when it was revealed that Shibai has most likely altered the memories of humanity, at least once before. And so because Kaguya consumed the chakra fruit that came directly after Shibai, she not only inherited the powers of the fruit, but also the memory that Shibai tried to erase from humanity. He might have changed reality, but he himself knew the truth. And as we know, the chakra fruit absorbs knowledge, and with that, it absorbed Shibai's remains and memories. All that time, Kaguya acted on knowledge that nobody else had, and for some reason she decided to keep it a secret, even from Black Zetsu. She might have planned this for 1,000 years. So we can't be sure if Kaguya was really trying to achieve the goal that Black Zetsu claimed was hers. Maybe she was pursuing something entirely different all those years, and is now just waiting for Boruto to finally free her. This will allow the second stage of her plan to begin, because since the start of Naruto, all she has ever wanted is to save the world. Why would it suddenly change? After eating the chakra fruit, she suddenly knew about the arrival of 3 Ōtsutskis, Momoshiki, Kinshiki, and Urashiki. The only one who could have given that memory to the chakra fruit must have been another Ōtsutsuki, either Shibai or his partner. This could suggest that Momoshiki might have been involved with Shibai even before Kaguya came to Earth. The only ways Shibai could have known this are either if he has the ability to see the future, which we know is possible with Shinjutsu in a limited way as shown by Momoshiki, or if Momoshiki had planned all this directly with Shibai from the start. A big plan that is happening in the background that only a few Ōtsutskis know about. First, let's address the elephant in the room, Kaguya's rumored death. Kaguya is mentioned in Boruto non-stop. Of course she will return. Besides, it was clearly explained that Kaguya was sealed with the same jutsu as in the past. There was no word about dying. So if she survived the first time for 1,000 years, why wouldn't she survive again? Especially because Black Zetsu even said that if they stopped her now, he'd just do the whole thing again at a time when Naruto and Sasuke are no longer alive. So Black Zetsu pretty much confirmed that Kaguya isn't dead, at least no more than she was in the last 1,000 years. And to be honest, whether Kaguya is alive or not doesn't really matter, because Black Zetsu is most likely alive. He's as much of an immortal being as a tailed beast, which is purely a chakra construct and therefore truly immortal. And as far as we know, he knows pretty much the same things Kaguya does, because in essence, he's Kaguya in some abstract way, a manifestation of her will. By the way, in the context of this theory, it could even be interpreted that Black Zetsu wasn't really the will of Kaguya compressed into one being. Instead, he could be a specific will that is separate from all the other knowledge she might have. If Black Zetsu, for example, knew a possible truth that Kaguya might know that doesn't align with what was revealed by Black Zetsu in the Naruto series, he couldn't and wouldn't act so naturally in the history of Naruto the way he did. He only did what he did because he knew what he revealed, which is Kaguya's plan to rule the world. He didn't even consider the Ōtsutsuki invasion. He was purely and solely pursuing the resurrection of Kaguya. The proof for this is that he literally said it might take another 1,000 years to resurrect Kaguya. However, she knew well that the other Ōtsutskis would arrive in the coming decades, so Kaguya wouldn't even consider another resurrection. The fact that Black Zetsu does consider it shows a difference between his will and Kaguya's, so he can't be the manifestation of her will, maybe one of her wills. In that regard, the fact that Kaguya chose to fight the strongest forces on Earth decades before the arrival of the biggest threat to Earth is also strange. This supports the idea that Kaguya never intended to defeat Naruto and Sasuke. Maybe it was more like a test. if humanity is ready. This could also mean that Kaguya might be much stronger than she showed against Naruto and Sasuke, and it makes sense because theoretically Hagoromo and Hamura should be much stronger than Naruto and Sasuke due to their close Ōtsutsuki DNA. Hagoromo is the ancestor of both Naruto and Sasuke. His power split in two, Indra and Ashura, so Naruto and Sasuke are at best only as skilled as Hagoromo alone. Together they might be more powerful than Hagoromo alone because they are two people, but in terms of chakra and amount, control, and skill, they aren't even close to being as powerful as Hagoromo alone. They couldn't even win against Madara without Hagoromo. And this doesn't even include Hamura, who brings a whole different set of abilities. I mean, Naruto and Sasuke could only defeat Kaguya with the help of Kakashi, Obito, and even Sakura. That says a lot. So yeah, it's definitely possible that Black Zetsu didn't know everything. Now you can choose between two options. Either this is an inconsistent plot and Kishimoto didn't think through his own characters, or Kishimoto is a master mangaka. He may have hinted that Black Zetsu wasn't the full representation of all of Kaguya's will, but just a tool. This also opens the debate of whether or not Kaguya might have different Black Zetsus, each with different missions, goals, and knowledge. That will also make it possible that during the time skip, Boruto and Sasuke were actually pursued by another Black Zetsu, one that is not hostile, and that has an entirely different mission. This one could have revealed the truth and motivated them to free Kaguya. Good, now let's move on. So, Kaguya is the only person who lived on Earth and doesn't side with the will of the Ōtsutsuki or the Ōtsutsuki clan. She ate the fruit and with that gained all the knowledge about Earth's existence up to the point when she ate the fruit. As mentioned before, Momoshiki had already hinted that Shibai might have altered humanity's memory at least once. So if we assume that when Shibai was alive he had a reason to alter humanity's memory, which he obviously had, his own knowledge and that of other Ōtsutskis, that is, his partners, wasn't changed. So in essence, Kaguya could have foreseen Shibai's plan 1,000 years before it happened. She then acted according to it to the point that not even Black Zetsu might have known exactly what is happening or what Kaguya might truly be after. At this point, it's very important to say that Kaguya is not inherently evil. In fact, she's the true hero of the entire story. Her decision not only ensured the survival of humanity against the first 3 Ōtsutskis, but also protected the future against Shibai and his partner or whoever else will become the true main villain. For some reason, after consuming the chakra fruit and with it the knowledge of Earth, she knew exactly who would come to Earth. We literally saw the silhouette of 3 Ōtsutskis that would appear years later. But how? Does Shibai have an ability that lets him see into the future? Did he see Momoshiki, Kinshiki, and Urashiki? Or did he even include them in his plan to return to the mortal dimension? Or is it that Momoshiki and Shibai were actually pursuing a goal together, maybe even together with Kaguya, which would explain why she betrayed Ishiki? But for now, let's focus on the Momoshiki X Shibai conspiracy. We know that Momoshiki can basically see the fate of a person other than his own. Essentially, it's an ability that allows him to see the future. If he saw Shibai's future and told him about it, it's not too far-fetched to say that a much deeper plan is going on. In that theory, Momoshiki didn't come to planet Earth just to avenge the honor of the Ōtsutsuki clan or collect the chakra fruit. He came to find a vessel for some reason, a vessel with blue eyes, something Shibai might have promised him in return. Definitely an intriguing idea, and now think about it. The plot was all about Boruto getting back his identity. In Boruto's own words, he wants to become so strong that he can end this conflict with Kawaki like a simple and silly fight between siblings. How did it go from a silly fight to the worst nightmare humanity could ever imagine? And there's also no given reason to explain why Boruto and Sasuke would suddenly know or even try to understand the 10 Tails, let alone gain knowledge of this horrible future. They might have tried to stop the 10 Tails from existing further because of code and because Sasuke can't visit the dimension anymore. They might have looked for another way to get there. If Boruto can't do it with his own teleportation ability, which clearly does exist in some way, but doesn't seem strong enough to reach the Ōtsutsuki dimension without him knowing where exactly it is, they might have started looking into how to find that location so that Boruto could teleport there. In the new chapter, it looks like he first had to connect himself to code with the help of the Earth as well as the Toads. And now it truly does look like Boruto is using some sort of spatial ability to teleport to code, so this explanation does fit. But in any case, it definitely opens up the possibility that during the first confrontation, Boruto might simply not have known about the danger of the 10 Tails. This means he must have for some reason during the time skip after training had already started somehow found out about the truth. And it's very hard to make that happen if you're only focused on training and not gathering information. Gathering information takes a lot of time. In 10 years, Sasuke barely found out anything about Kaguya, even though he spent a whole decade searching and investigating. Time they don't have right now, so their focus shouldn't be on uncovering the world's secrets. This means something must have happened during the time skip training that made Boruto and Sasuke change their goal. They shifted their focus from just training to something completely different. That's possibly why they didn't confront want Kawaki for 2-3 years, even though they easily could have. In the recent chapters of Boruto Two Blue Vortex, Boruto said that Code doesn't understand the true horror of the 10 tails. But as far as we know, Code knows exactly what we do from Naruto and Boruto. In fact, he knows much more. So how or from where does Boruto suddenly know more than Code, who used to be the one who knew more than anyone else? He got everything there is to know from a high-level Ōtsutsuki. By high level, I mean the ones who are not sacrificed to the 10 tails but serve as the consumer. That's a big deal. There's no way anyone in the world exists who knows more than Ishiki unless it's an Ōtsutsuki, for example Kaguya. And Kaguya has much more value for Boruto and Sasuke than just simple information. She's a full-fledged Ōtsutsuki. There's no doubt that Sasuke is probably the best teacher Boruto could ask for. But Sasuke is just a human. He's biologically incapable of teaching Shinjutsu. So unless Boruto and Momoshiki started getting along during the time skip, it's in Boruto's best interest to be trained by Kaguya. And Sasuke should now know that all Kaguya did was prepare humanity. In other words, she's not evil, just misunderstood. So it's at least worth trying, especially since Kaguya's goal should have changed. Humanity is no longer preparing to fight Momoshiki and the other anymore. Kaguya's past actions, which aligned with a time when the Ōtsutskis hadn't arrived yet, wouldn't fit with the current situation anymore. Besides, I'm pretty sure Boruto could easily beat her. Given that, Sasuke wouldn't consider it a big risk. So what do you think of this theory? Let me know in the comments, and please, if you enjoyed this video, then smash the like button. It really helps me a lot. And if you want to see more Boruto content, then subscribe to this channel with the notification bell activated for more videos. Thank you for watching and see you next time. Bye!